Friday morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Light the Tower. On the Horn, 104.9, 101.9, AM 1260. We're live, local, and digital on the Horn app and at hornfm.com. Colonel, I apologize if you were forced to hold that plank about an extra 6-7 seconds. I hope it was all right. Let me ask my producer, Cameron Parker. Are you familiar with the Colonel holding the plank position there at the start of the show? Colonel Craig Flowers, host of The High Ground, here on the Horn on Saturday mornings. When the show opens, every morning, he holds the plank position while the opening riff of Eminence Front is going down there and does not lower until I open the microphone and tell everybody. And there's a certain area where that 8 bar where I come in normally. But sometimes, like this morning, for example, when I'd actually covered up my headphones and I was scrambling to pull those back out and then plug those back in, there was an extra 4 bar out of there that had to play just a little bit longer there. But the Colonel's always in tip-top physical shape, so he's capable of holding that. So we do welcome you to Light the Tower on the Horn. Again, 104.9, 101.9, AM 1260. We're live, local, and digital on the Horn app and at hornfm.com. My name is Craig Way. Glad to have you with us. Jeff Howe will be along shortly. Cameron Parker is our producer. How'd you spend your Thursday evening? What went down with you? Oh, you had basketball last night.
I was out in Giddings High School.
Yeah. In the cool gym out there in Lee County. Did you stop at the little Buc-ee's or the Buckaroos or the Buccarinos, as folks are called, because it's the mini Buc-ee's? Did you get to stop at that one?
No, is that off of 290?
It's right on. No. Yes, right. It's on the west side of town, so you would probably have turned north to go to the high school before that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's on the west side over there. Okay, so
did not stop, but was at Giddings High School.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna let you give us the details on that coming up in our Flex segment in the next hour. When we talk some high school basketball playoff. It is a Sweet 16 Elite 8 regional weekend on the girls' side, and on the boys' side, it is area round, which is what Cam was doing last night with the Brian Rutter LBJ game. So we'll give you all the details on that coming up. Coming up this morning at the bottom of the hour of our Longhorn Notebook, part of the Longhorn Notebook will be none other than Bruce Burke, Texas men's tennis coach, and they've got the matchup with Texas A&M this weekend. Longhorns coming off a second-place finish at the ITA National Indoor Championship, and then they go back to the outdoor courts with the big matchup with Texas A&M coming up on Sunday. So we'll visit with him about that. Of course, this is a huge weekend across the board, whether you're talking about basketball, men's and women's basketball for Texas, both with games that have so much in the way of, at the very least, driver's seat, if not complete Big 12 title implications for both the men and women. There's Longhorn baseball. They open a 3-game weekend series with the Indiana Hoosiers this evening at UFC Disch-Falk Field. It will be on the air at 6:15. 6:30 the first pitch. Ty Harrington will join me for the call of that one. In fact, Texas State also with a very busy weekend. The Bobcat men's basketball team and the Texas State women's basketball team wrap up their regular seasons tonight. They're done after tonight for the regular season. The men will play at home against Southern Miss. The women still have an outside shot at winning, at the very least, a share and maybe outright Sun Belt Conference title. They're on the road. They play at Arkansas State. They've already won 20 ball games. Ray Antoine's done a heck of a job there this year, so the Bobcat women have a chance to win at the very least a share of, if not the outright, Sun Belt title. And they probably need a win to get that double bye for the conference tournament. The conference tournament for the Sun Belt begins Tuesday. This is we are now on the precipice. We're on the cusp of championship week leading into March Madness. And for the mid-major conferences and in large measure, the one-bid leagues, it actually starts this coming week. So, and that includes the Sun Belt starting on Tuesday. So it's an important night for them. Texas State baseball in action home. They're trying to add on to that power-packed 3-0 start where they were just bashing the ball all over the park against Northwestern. They have the Golden Eagles of Oral Roberts in this weekend. So it's a very busy weekend all the way around for Texas men's and women's athletics. Texas men and women wrapping up yet another conference title in swimming and diving. So there's a lot going on that. Joined now by my co-host, the pride of Northwest Williamson County, and a proud graduate of Florence High School, as ever, right? You're always.
I'm always proud.
Always.
Always. That'll never die.
Proud, but very excited that today is the release of Cocaine Bear.
Oh, man. It's like the Super Bowl of movie releases.
See that? See, yeah. You know him best for his outstanding work at Horns 24/7, or maybe you know him best the fact that he loves bears. He loves bear stories of, what do you say, bears doing people things?
Yeah, bears doing human activities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
the classic one is I like to picture a bear sitting at his kitchen table.
Yeah.
The round table with his glasses on doing his taxes.
Yeah.
And then being just aggravated when he finds out that he's not only is he not getting a refund, but he owes the government, owes Uncle Sam a little bit.
There's something he thought he was going to be able to use as a deduction, and that's not a deduction, that kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
I
amuse myself.
Yeah. So anyway, I know you're fired up about that, even though your lovely wife Tamara has made it clear that if you're attending,
she's out on Cocaine Bear.
That if you plan to attend this movie, and you do, that you will not be attending it in the company. She will not be in your company for that.
No, negative.
Yeah,
not happening. Hey, do you know? You mentioned Oral Roberts. I don't want to go too far down the wormhole here.
The Golden Eagles.
Yeah. The story of, is it a story or a legend of Oral Roberts speaking to the 900-foot Jesus and that whole deal about how the founding of the school and whatnot?
Yeah.
I'm kind of I forget how the whole thing goes. But you know that there's an artist, I don't believe he's active anymore, that named himself basically after the premise of the Oral Roberts tale and named himself MC 900-foot Jesus?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Had a hit back in the day with "If I Only Had a Brain." If you're a Beavis and Butthead fan, you remember the.
If I Only Had a Brain, you mean like the Scarecrow and the Wizard of Oz? If I Only Had a Brain,
something like that.
Because that's where that came from, 1939.
I believe the first line of the song is "If I only had my S together."
Oh, okay. That wasn't in the Wizard of Oz. That part was not in the Wizard of Oz. But the Scarecrow says, "If I only had a brain." That kind of, I did not know that. That would have been a good cue.
Cameron, let's just see if you can find an instrumental of that. If I Only Had a Brain by MC 900 for Jesus, just the instrumental. Yeah. It's catchy. It'll be in your head the rest of the day.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Is it by Sting?
Not by Sting the artist, or Sting hanging out in the rafters with a baseball bat. No, it'd be If I Only Had a Brain by MC 900 for Jesus.
I don't think, it co-opted the same thing, the same thought process on that. This would have been a good time to have on our good friend, my engineer for Longhorn men's basketball on the road, and former play-by-play voice of the Dallas Cowboys, David Garrett, because Dave not only is a former voice of the Cowboys and the former voice of the New Orleans Saints and Oklahoma State Cowboys, he also is a former play-by-play voice of the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles.
I remember that. Cam, can you give us that instrumental, please? I just wanted Craig to hear a little bit of this.
Okay.
If you're a Beavis and Butthead fan, you remember this vividly.
You know what? I think I'm going to incorporate this for a bump back for baseball.
Yes.
For Longhorn baseball. Yeah. I think we're going to use that.
Just make sure the lyrics aren't included.
Yeah, it's got to be the instrumental. I understand that. Yeah. I like that. Okay. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Glad
I think we'll do that.
I'm glad I can let you know about that, Craig. You can drop that into the rotation.
Absolutely. What I started to tell you about Dave Garrett, when he knows a lot about that whole deal, the whole Oral Roberts thing. And I went to, when he was doing Oral Roberts, I went over to Tulsa one time. Texas had an afternoon game against Oklahoma State in Stillwater, and I believe it was the day of the James Thomas, TJ Ford, the baseline collision thing.
so
that was an afternoon game.
Spring of 2002.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, in fact, I know that was it because I think that was at the time that Dave was doing Oral Roberts play-by-play. And that was the day, obviously, when TJ Ford was trying to get the ball and spilled out of bounds, and a fan put his hands on TJ's throat.
He alleged that TJ landed on his pregnant wife or something like that.
And James Thomas went in there with flying haymakers.
Well, if you talk about Longhorn athletes who are not to be trifled with,
that's one.
James Thomas is pretty high up on that list.
Yeah. And the next year when they went back, the Final Four year, the 02-03 year, the wife who had her baby by then, they had made a request to Oklahoma State. They wanted to, quote unquote, make amends with TJ.
Okay.
So they set up this meeting, and when Scott McConnell walks him in there, and TJ's kind of like, it's all good. And the guy and the wife comes up, very nice, and has the little baby and all that with him, and she's like nudging him, like, go on. Like, say what you're going to do. I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have done that. Said, go on, and I realized you didn't really mean to do it. And she was controlling the whole deal on that. But at the time, Dave was doing the play-by-play for Oral Roberts. So after that game that day, and I had made plans on this in advance, to go drive over the 70 miles over to Tulsa. ORU was playing that night. It was a big game in the Summit League. I think they were playing Western Illinois or somebody. It was an important game. And so I go over there and sit with him, and it was I'd been in the Maybe Center, their home arena, one time, and it was the very first game that I ever was the color analyst for with Bill Schoening in the 1992-93 season. Texas actually opened the season in Tulsa at Oral Roberts.
Oh, what a weird schedule that was.
And if you look it up, the final score was just it was through the roof. It was like I want to say it was almost like a 127-120 or something like that. It was a real high-scoring game. You got to remember when Tom Penders was coaching, Texas played some road games and some unusual. They went to Nacogdoches and played Stephen F. Austin. They went to Beaumont and played Lamar. There were some road games in some places that they probably wouldn't be traveling much to this year. So it was the very first game. So I'd been to that arena one time, but it had been a long time since. So I'd gone back there, and Dave was telling me all the different things that they did for that arena, because that was basically the pulpit. That's where Dr. Roberts would deliver his sermons and things like that, and the television show would be on, and he pointed out where the basketball court was laid. It was over top of a stage with like a retractable orchestra pit type thing, and he would rise up on the stage in the morning on Sunday mornings to deliver his message. It would like bring him out of the floor.
Was it kind of like the stage at the old stage at UT Arlington?
Yeah, kind of like that. Except the one at UT Arlington had the orchestra pit in front. This was one where it was laid flat over the top, and the stage would just rise right up in the center, and he would rise up there.
I'll be damned, Craig. Your memory is spot on.
What was the final day?
This Tuesday, December 1st, 1992, Texas at Oral Roberts. Longhorns got to win 136-97.